You got to intro your captain.
I don't know if it needs a intro for everyone. Well, maybe the ball, the shaved.
Man, it's not that different.
Yeah.
It's not that different.
Wait, do you know so Rashid reckons that Carl's all of a sudden shaved his head to a new level of bald.
But a new level.
Well,
He didn't even recognise me.
he's like, he played with him. He goes, man, I've had this haircut for 10 years.
Wait, are you Carl Valeri?
I think I vaguely remember Rash shaving my head at some stage.
Yeah, really?
Potentially. In the change room. I used to shave it in the change room.
yeah,
Like,
maybe.
fix the back up.
The young players.
Yeah.
Some of the chores.
All right, for those that don't know, we've got Carl Valeri here, obviously a Australian legend of football. We're doing a culture corner here, highlighting Italian-Australian culture. So we thought none other than Carl Valeri would be the best person to speak to, someone who's not just played professionally here in Australia, more importantly in Melbourne, but also over in Italy. Most of your career, would you say?
10 years. 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years.
So,
10 years, man.
Carlo, what age did you go to Italy? And why? Can you tell us why as well?
So, I don't know. At the time when I was growing up, like there was like Parramatta Power was coming up back, and so the NSL was starting to get a little bit of a reboot. So I had that option maybe to go to Parramatta Power. And then I thought, you know what? Do I want to be in Australia? I'm young. I was like an old teenager, man. Like, if you saw me when I was 2017, you would have thought I was like 25, just the way I acted.
Why?
I don't know.
Did you have a beard? Did you have a beard already?
Yeah, I did. I was one of those early, bloomers. Full hair,
Yeah, another Gavin Denise.
Yeah.
It's a normal wog, really.
Yeah, basically. So I just wanted to go overseas, and I thought, I'm Italian. I want to be in Italy. And I left from
what age?
17.
17. Wow.
17, I went over. So it was after, obviously you got to have the opportunity. So we went to the Under-17s World Cup. It was Nathan Coe and I.
Oh, yeah,
we
that's
both
right.
ended up at Inter Milan together. So, man, what better than that, going with one of your mates to a foreign country?
So
It was awesome.
how does Inter Milan come knocking on your door? Like, and at that point of Inter Milan's tenure, it was like peak CDR.
It was peak. It was like, I'm talking, there was players there. They were like, who's that guy? Oh, he's in the team, but he doesn't play. There was like 50 first-team players.
Right.
So many players. Right. And they'd get in the window, just everyone in. It was peak, buy everyone, Fordham. There was Adriano, Christian Vieri, Crespo was there at some stage.
Zanetti would have been.
Zanetti was there throughout the Materazzi, Toldo, like, just to name a few.
Yeah.
What's Vieri's connection to Australia?
Man, he speaks like me.
No, he does.
He does, I swear.
Like an A.
Yeah, he's Australian. When I heard him speak, I was like,
He
wow.
grew up here, no?
Yeah, he grew up
I
in
think so,
Sydney.
yeah. And then just lived his rest of his life in Italy.
Yeah. So he grew up in Sydney. Well, his brother played for Australia. Max Vieri.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even know
I
that.
didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Did the Pooters know that?
They would.
Yeah,
I
so
knew that.
his dad came out after his career. He was apparently a top player as well. I think his name was Robert Vieri, and that's why Christian Vieri got the nickname Bobo. But anyway, they came out, coached, and then Christian, he was pretty much Australian. It was crazy because he was massive over there.
Yeah, right.
Like he couldn't sit down, have a coffee.
Oh, wow.
Man, he'd just get Anyway.
So then you go there at 17.
But
and
who comes to Inter Milan? How do they see you?
Yeah, all right. This is the big dog moment. I can pump myself up a bit. So, Nathan Coe and I actually made the FIFA World 11 when we were 17.
That's mad.
Yeah.
Shout out Nathan Coe.
Nathan Coe. That's the best person ever. Yeah.
So we both had good tournaments. It was with Ange Postecoglou as coach in Trinidad and Tobago. I was just random.
It's just like a meme tournament, man.
Wait.
Bro, this is FIFA.
At some stage, we end up at Brian Lara's house.
What?
In Trinidad and Tobago.
His uncle.
For the people that don't know who that is, that's the greatest cricket player ever. And he's from Trinidad and Tobago.
It was...
What, the whole team or just you and
team.
Nathan Coe?
No, the whole team's in his house. And
Backyard.
What a life.
yeah, right. It's so weird. Yeah, tell me about it.
Okay.
We're going to go back to that, like how that came about. All right. Yeah.
So anyway, look, FIFA World 11. I was on their radar, But when when the press release came out, okay, who's the best 11 players? It was Nathan Coe and myself on it, so they literally reached out straight away
Wow.
and locked us in. I think it was the first contract was a 3-year deal.
So was that a senior team contract at that time?
It is a senior team contract, but you're in the reserves, and the
Yeah.
reserves is
But it's
the
a professional
Primavera.
contract.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a
yeah.
professional contract. Sorry, yeah.
So in the Primavera, which even the Primaveras, like we had our own. It was better than like we had our own bus, we had our own apartments. There was wait till I tell you, it was cleaned every day. We had 2 different restaurants to go eat at. Like everything. Like I'm talking, it was perfect. So we'd meet at a place, the team bus, all decked out into Milan, card tables, TVs, and go to training, come back, go to our chosen restaurant, whichever one we wanted to, eat, go back home. Apartment was nice and clean. So we lived a privileged life.
So where you were living, obviously in Milan, you and Coe were living together, was it?
Yeah. So it was a whole team. It was kind of weird the way they did it. They separated the foreigners and kept the Italians.
Right. That old
Which
thing.
we can get to that in the culture, but
Yeah, right.
but it was okay. It suited us because we were young, man. We had different ways of doing things.
Yeah.
And we became Italianized, I think, probably a few years later. Yeah, but it was fun.
Did you speak Italian before you went there?
I didn't. I was learning it on the go. I spoke a little bit, enough to get by. But I guess I didn't learn until the second year. The best thing that happened, and I'm not sure Nathan will agree, is we separated. Nathan went to PSV.
Yeah.
And I stayed, and I really kind of had to become Italian. So I was just, it was great. It was probably the best thing for me personally, the best thing that could happen, because Italians, like, they're really social, man. They're social beasts. If you don't see them, if you don't sit with them, if you don't joke with them, mate, they'll just won't have a bar of you. Yeah, it's offensive.
But it's offensive, so you're not part of the team if you're not doing that
you're not
stuff,
part of the
really.
group. Anything. Yeah. Like if you go to a cafe, if you just go once, I go, cafe, yeah, see you later. If you go there second time, oh, ciao, come stai, you know?
Right,
where are you?
Right.
Okay, you go the next day, oh, where's the kids? You know, where's your wife? Yeah, come, coffee's on me today.
That's awesome.
The Italians.
1 week.
1
1 year.
How to become friends.
Yeah, how to become friends. You just frequent the same spot every time, and they're just social animals. So the Italian, you really needed to just give up everything and become one of them, even if it meant, like sometimes they'd sit there and just talk crap. I didn't understand. But being with them, they accepted me and they made a lot of effort.
Yeah. Would you say it's the same experience in Italian-Australian culture? Is it similar or no?
It's a little bit different. Like in Italy, you'd go for the thing to do, you'd get dressed in your finest and go for a walk. I mean, in Australia, do you get dressed?
Go for a walk in your finest.
It's called.
That's mad.
He's best dressed today too.
Yeah.
It's like by far.
It's all making sense now.
You go for a passeggiata, and that passeggiata is just a walk. So you get out and you go and you see the same people in the passeggiata, and you speak to them. You wouldn't do anything. You just go to the shops.
Can I ask you honestly, are you trying to pick up girls?
No, man. Look, I used to go with Whitney, walk down the street with the kids at passeggiata. That's it.
Dressed nice.
I imagine 20-year-olds.
That means you're just going for a walk.
Just a walk. A passeggiata, all it means is a walk.
That's like a pasear in Spanish.
Yeah.
Voy a
right.
pasear.
And that element, like, is fantastic. That's why, I mean, if you read about Italians, they live longer over there.
Yeah.
But in Australia, we're so like massive. Like, we have to drive everywhere.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, if I go for a walk for 10 minutes, I'm still not at the end of my street. You know?
That's well.
That's a fair point. Hasn't seen anyone.
Yeah. We're isolated, and that's
Do you think the way of life is better in terms of? I know everyone's like, oh, look at the European lifestyle. They stay out till 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, having coffees, having a ciggy, whatever. The produce is better. The food tastes better. Do you think it's that lifestyle suited you, or compared to an Australian?
Well, I grew up around that. Like we were social for like see each other all the time, be with each other all the time. So that element suited, but I didn't realize how important it was till I was there, I guess. And like it's funny, Italians, man. Once you're in for life. Yeah. It's like a cliche, I know, but it's true. Like I've still got friends that I play with 17. I haven't spoken to them in a couple of years, but if I message them, hey Carl, how you going? How's the family? How's Whitney? When are you coming to see us?
Yeah.
It's that type of relationship. But yeah, from a team element, we'll go back to, when Nathan left, I mingled with the team and, I became captain of the team because I was accepted and they got to know me. I got to know them and they're like, oh, you're not angry all the time. You're not just yelling. You actually care about the team. So
Going as an Aussie Italian over there and start, that takes balls. They're gonna, they might look at you and think,
fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Why did they separate you when you said the Italians and the overseas players based off that?
Look, it was just back then there wasn't much thought process into it. They just thought, we're giving you these beautiful apartments, it's cleaned, your clothes are washed.
Okay.
Go out and do whatever you've got to do.
On the field then, what was like?
There was clear separation on the field. Yeah.
Okay, was there? But also from like a style point of view for you, playing in Australia and then going over there,
man.
like what was the instant notable difference?
Man, they're just like ruthless. Like at training, like if you didn't pull your weight at training and, win the partitella, the little match at the end, man, they want to talk to you for a couple of days. And they go, you've got to be better. Like they'd smash you. But not just because of pure competitiveness. And, I was, looking back, I didn't realize it at the time, but I was a big fish here, I went over there and I was just the same as every other. Man, the times there, the coach just wouldn't talk to me, wouldn't play me. It wasn't until it took me a year really to get into it, into that mentality. And you know what? I loved it, man. Like just being ruthless at training. And then that was it. Like you'd smash each other at training, like go hard, tackles, full blown match. And at the end, no problem. Oh, let's go, Carl. Let's go get a cafe.
But were they harder? Were they harder on you as an Australian then, more than the others? Do you think?
Oh, I think no. I think look, as an Australian, one thing I did well, and a lot of players don't. I think in this day of age, they don't identify their strength and work on that.
Yeah.
A lot of players are like, oh, what am I not good at? I'll work on that. So I knew I was strong at working my ass off, organising the team, winning my tackles, doing simple things. So I did that and they appreciated that. So they weren't hard on me at all because they're like, you know what? You're going to work your ass off for the team.
Yeah.
What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
It was more about that.
Yeah.
But
and then okay, so you're at Milan. What's the next step after that? And
so
next, few years?
Man. So I had a great second year. Like I'm talking captain. We pretty much, I don't know if we won everything. I can't remember, but we made the final of everything. Like in the
this is in the reserves.
Team. Yeah. I played a few friendly matches with the first team.
Whoa!
Yeah,
so that's massive.
Wait, who are you partnering in midfield?
So I don't know if you remember Di Biagio. So I played against Fiorentina. In Fiorentina, we had Di Biagio. I was playing Crespo up front. Almeida. Had Almeida there.
Is that the Portuguese Hugo Almeida?
Yeah. No. He was Argentinian. I'm pretty.
Argentinian. Yeah. Almeida. Yeah.
Who else was there? I think Materazzi was at the back. So
that's a villain.
No, it was great. I played. Hector Cooper was coach.
Sorry, before we go off this point, because you've actually played across generations too.
Yeah.
You're one of the only players that's really played across generations.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
He played different eras. He played with and against players that we watched as kids, and then he also played with us.
Yeah.
That's actually you. You're a dinosaur, man.
Yeah.
I'm like You're a dinosaur.
I'm a surviving dinosaur. I'm a crocodile.
The key thing is here is you
Becoming extinct.
Bro,
You played. Hey, take it easy. Let's go.
Bro, that's a cheap shot, bro.
But you played with players that we talk about as like, oh, they were the glory days.
Yeah.
They were the good players. And now it's not like that.
Yeah.
What do you see as the difference between those players, European players at that time, compared to now and maybe even Australian players now?
Oh, geez, the pure talent over there, raw, just unbelievable, pick of the bunch type situation where they're good even if they don't train. Now what I find is that, if I compare the two type of generations, that they have to be like they're fine-tuned sports cars. Where a lot before they were raw. You talk about the first Ronaldo.
More personality.
Well, I was having
More
this conversation
personality,
last night.
and then you still had those, the people that fine-tuned, and they'd work hard at training, but they were just great at it. Like there wasn't that advancement of you've got to do this amount of running, you've got this GPS in, this type of weights. Like, they were just beasts. Like Christian Vieri, he was, almost 190 centimeters, and he was a beast. He was naturally shredded.
What about personality-wise?
Yeah, massive. They were just
larger than life.
Because
Larger
they
than
seemed
life.
like giants. I was watching them on TV, so they seemed like giants. They seemed like they walked taller and had massive personalities that I didn't feel like I felt when I was in the dressing room when I was older. Maybe that's just because I was older
yeah.
and I was a kid when I was watching them.
Mm.
But did you notice a difference in the
Man, they were
size
just-
of the personalities?
Nah, they were just guys. Like, to be honest, the personalities thing came on later, and what caused that was a lot of social media. Everyone kind of their personalities grew bigger, so now they've got this image, this persona that's not just Rashid in the change room. There's a lot more. But back in the day, man, they were just like normal guys.
Yeah,
They could go out, nothing would happen. There'd be no photos, there'd be no videos. Yeah. So it was great. It was more enjoyable.
Well, it's
And
probably
then-
almost better because you could almost
It
get
was
away
pure.
with more.
Well, it was just
That's where his mind goes straight away.
This guy, man.
it's not about
Because you don't have that thought, fuck, if I do that, then this is going to get published on me.
yes,
You know?
it's not about
true.
doing something bad. It's about that comfortable moment when you're at home and you say something wrong.
Yeah.
Now everyone's a bit on guard.
Yes, exactly.
They don't want to say something offensive. They don't want to, be put on the next,
Well, that's what I
current
mean,
affair or
like,
something like
say,
that. Yeah.
whatever Ronaldo says is going to be public,
Yeah.
no matter what.
But Rush, we also grew up. I reckon if you ask a kid now, if you look at Haaland, they're like,
Yeah, that's why I'm asking it. Yeah, that's why I'm asking it. Because,
Yeah.
Was the culture in Italy like there's naturally always been a view that the culture in Italy off the field, there was people have a glass of wine, they might go for a dart, they might smoke,
Yeah.
and then they go play Serie A on the weekend. Is that real?
Yeah, that is real. That is at half time sometimes.
No, it's
Did
not.
you
So
see
when
what
I-
Pirlo did with his team?
Well,
In
no,
Turkey?
what?
Siggy
Bro,
break.
was having ciggies at half time.
Yeah. So
Oh, bro, we
So-
played in the wrong country, man.
So I'll go back. So when I was at Inter Milan, I obviously did all that. I went to the Olympics in 2004, and
So
I was
you're
20,
what age?
20, 20.
Okay.
So I was young, but
Okay.
I played. I
you've
did
been 3
really well.
years at Inter?
Yeah, I
and
did
you got
well.
Olympics.
And
That's an achievement in
yeah,
itself, right?
it was actually Brett Holman and I actually got called up to the Socceroos together, like as 19-year-olds. But I couldn't go because I'd just been at the Olympics and it was too much time away from the club. So
Yeah,
the club were like, "Fuck, you've just come back. You can't go."
So Inter Milan said no to the Socceroos.
Wow.
Not
After
to
Carl
Soccer-
Valeri at
yeah,
19.
yeah.
Wow.
So-
That's not bad. That's not bad. Huh?
So did all that, and then I thought, "Fuck, here we go." Going minimum. I'm going speaking Italian. I'm going to minimum Serie B here. I'm in. I'll go maybe a Serie A club, mate. In that market, no one wanted me. I couldn't find anywhere to go because Inter Milan, it wasn't like a pathway club. You had to go out on loan, prove yourself, and then maybe they'd call you back. So I was looking for a club. No one wanted me, man. On the last day, the market had closed. I received a message from my agent. Mate, we couldn't find you a club. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm going to be stuck at Inter doing nothing. And the club contacted me like an hour later and said, we found you a club. You're going to Spal. I was like, Spal?
Spal.
Fuck is that? Spal. I didn't even know what it was. And, I go, hang on, what's Spal? And they go, it's in Ferrara. And I was like, okay. So got on the train and went to Ferrara. They picked me up. I didn't know anything about this team. Get there, and first person I meet is Massimiliano Allegri. He was the coach.
What?
He was the coach. And
Spal ended up playing.
yeah, Spal was a great club, mate. What a city.
Yeah.
If you want to experience Italy, that region, Emilia-Romagna,
Yeah.
is the best.
For what
Really?
reasons? The food's good.
Food, the quality of life, just everything is great about that place. The region, for me, was one of the best in Italy.
Right.
So when they had no idea who I was. So I'm back at square one, man. Like
Yeah.
proving myself with all these Italians who are, 30 years old and just like, look at this young guy come to steal my spot. But eventually I wore them down. But the funniest thing was, like, it was just like a reality check. Like, we'd play, they'd like 2 coffees before the game, half time, they'd run in. I'm like, oh, what's going on? Why are we running in? get a coffee into the cubicle, they'd be smoking. I'd be like, what the hell is going on? And the coach is just like, we'll just wait for Alessio in the toilet.
Wait,
The coach is waiting.
Allegri was all good with it.
Yeah.
He's waiting for them to finish their
Did you ever get like? Did you ever fall
I
into
suck
that?
it down, mate.
Because it's like around you. And
Don't worry, have a
like
nice suck.
surely having a dart at halftime in a cubicle with a 30-year-old when you're 19, the 30-year-old's going to respect you a bit more. You know?
Oh,
Like, did
yeah,
you fall into
nah.
that? No, you-
Halftime, nah.
you were too
Halftime's
much
too
of a
far.
pro.
Did you dart up when you were in
No,
I got kids here. I got kids maybe watching this. I'm not incriminating myself.
His life.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I'm an angel, man. Come on.
yeah.
So yeah, that whole, but what it was just, it's a stressful moment, man. Like we're talking it was in Serie C the day, right? It wasn't like, we had 17,000 fans. We were getting abused.
Yeah.
There was cutthroat.
Third division, 17,000.
Yeah, 17,000.
But
It was
also
off the chart.
Serie C and Serie B at that time were like very good.
Oh, man.
Like
It
top
was-
level, weren't they?
We were playing against Napoli in Serie C.
Yeah, that's
Wow, what the hell?
Yeah, we go to Napoli. It was like
Yeah.
proper, full on. Like it was crazy. So they were some of the best years to be around. That Serie C, probably my first experience outside. It was fantastic, man.
Carl, were
it was pure.
you playing around the era where Juve got done for match fixing?
Yeah,
Oh, you were?
yeah, I was there. So
So what
I
was
missed
that like
them.
in Italy? Because I remember stadiums were like going a bit empty a little bit. Like the thing with Juve happened.
Mate, it all passed very quickly. Trust me.
Yeah.
I mean, they won.
Yeah?
They started with like 15 points less than everyone, and they won the league with 2 months to go.
Yeah, Serie
So,
B.
Serie B. Yeah.
That's because a lot of the players, like Del Piero, is famous for not leaving.
Yeah, they stayed.
Yeah.
They stayed.
So a lot's happened, but I guess, going back to that cafe, it's just their way of being together. Like after lunch, if like you go to the bar, like lunch is like a 3-course meal. Beautiful. If the pasta's overcooked, it goes back to the kitchen.
Al dente only.
It is ruthless. I'll be like, it's fine, it's okay. No, back to the kitchen. Right, no, don't eat it, don't touch it.
Don't touch it.
I'm hungry.
Like it's off. Like
Yeah.
it's off.
Stand up.
Imagine if
So
I was
good
in
for you.
it.
Sack the chef, man.
Yeah.
Imagine if I was there. Fucking hell, it's over here.
Yeah. So there'd be wine, like you could have a glass of wine at the dinner table.
Oh, this is
Yeah,
like
but-
midweek at lunch.
Mate, this is the night before a game. But everyone
I love this place. Bro.
is they don't abuse it.
Well, I was
Like,
going to
Italy's
ask
not a
you.
drinking culture.
This was going to ask you. Is their concept, are they viewing that as healthy?
Yeah.
Like, I would assume if you're a footballer, you're kind of going, no, this is good for me. Even though here we look at alcohol and cigarettes, it's like bad, it's really bad.
Well, they look at alcohol as like, it's a calming thing. And then they have a cigarette because it's a stress reliever. It's like, I'm calm, it's social. Everyone's sitting around playing cards, talking, having a laugh. Like this, just there's a coffee here and a cigarette there.
Because
And
if you think about it, if you got to play the next day, right? You got to play the next day. You're already fucking built up. You think about the game. You're like, all right, little vino, siki, ciao.
Well, I think the food, it's like it's cooked food. It's not like
man, it was the best.
it's good food. It's not like like now athletes might think, oh, too many calories or whatever, but it's good fresh food. It's not bullshit.
No, the Italians,
You know what I mean?
one thing about the Italians is just random mates pop up. Mate, they're all ripped, they're all shredded, they're all fit. Like, there's not many overweight Italians.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's more here in Australia, you see it. Over there, they're meticulous about their diet.
Right.
And you're talking about, pasta. They don't eat pasta every day. They got the fresh prosciutto, the fresh bresaola.
They're eating good.
They're eating good.
And everything's better. The flour's better. The tomatoes are better.
Yeah.
Everything is. It's not as here. Everything's got pesticides and all
Yeah.
that shit on it. It's very fresh.
The produce is unbelievable.
So what about, how would you describe the difference between an Italian footballer and an Italian regular civilian?
An Italian, mate, you live a privileged life as a footballer. Like, I'm talking, getting caught speeding. I'll tell a story which summarizes it very well. So I was taking, I think it was Whitney to the airport, and I was driving, and it was from Grosseto to Rome, and I slowed down because the police was waving it's like a ping pong paddle. So it was weird.
Yeah.
I know you do that, yeah.
They're waving it at me, and so I slowed down and I wound down my window, And he goes, no, not you idiot. You keep driving. All right, I keep driving. Because that's how they spoke to people. And anyway, on the way home.
No, that's how they speak to
They
people.
did.
No, you idiot.
Yeah, you idiot. No, you keep driving. All right. And on the way back, same thing. He's waving his paddle. And I'm like, nah. And I just took off because I thought, he's not waiting for me. So anyway, I'm hammering because in Italy it's open slather. So it's night time. I'm like, I've got to get home, got training. So I'm going pretty hard. Anyway, I see these lights in the background and I had a Nokia. It was like the silver one and I put it in there. And so there's like a handle popping out here. Right. Anyway, they pull me over. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm speeding. They go, put your hands up, put your hands up. I'm like, what's going on? What's between your legs? What's between your legs? I go, no, it's just my phone. And the worst thing was, listen to this, no dose was a thing, right?
Yeah.
So I had no dose in my car, but I spilled the tablet, so it's all pills. They're going, what's on the ground? I go, no, nothing. Look, nothing, there's a misunderstanding. And they're like full on. Ready
Don't
to.
let Carl hold your contraband.
Anyway, they go like, pop your boot. And like, slowly. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm like popping the boot slowly. And they're like, oh, what's this? And they found a shirt. And I go, what's this? And I go, oh, that's one of my playing tops. Oh, you play soccer? Ah, who for? Grosseto. Oh, Grosseto. What? And then all of a sudden, the conversation
bills everywhere. A gun. And I've gone, oh, you play soccer.
He's on a bus.
I go, look, that I can explain. Look, it's no days, obviously in a town. I go, this is my phone. Oh, you play soccer? Yeah, don't worry. Who do you play? What position? Oh, yeah, you're that Australian. You're Australian. Can I have this? Oh, yeah, take the shirt. No problem. All right. Okay, yeah, all good. See you later. And off I go. I was speeding. No, this was at Grosseto. Yeah. Mate, it's the things you get away with. I remember like going down a one-way street because I just couldn't be. In Italy, the rules are stuffed, man. Going down a one-way street and I just go the opposite way and the cop is right there at the end. He goes, mate, what are you doing? He goes, you're Australian. He goes, show me your passport. I don't have it. He goes, what are you doing here? I go, play soccer. Oh, you play soccer. Oh.
Okay. So
This is at Sassuolo.
That's a great summary.
This is at Sassuolo. And he goes, oh, all right. Show me your license, And he goes, oh, geez, this is, what do I have? The international driver's license.
Yeah, okay.
And he goes, mate, this is expired. And he goes, and you shouldn't have it because you've been here for so long. And he's looking around and he's like, in Bocca Lupo for the weekend. Good luck for the weekend. And we just let me go.
Is this really a check?
That was when, I think, Sassuolo was Serie B.
Imagine you playing for freaking Inter Milan.
That's over.
He's advising him like, hey, man, this is what you got to do before he's about to
So, man, in Italy, you live a privileged life.
Yeah.
You go to a bar, they're socialising, all the old people, but they're talking about football. There's 5 different newspapers with the votes of how you played. Ruthless.
Yeah. What is it? Gazzetta?
La Gazzetta dello Sport, Tutto Sport.
Yeah.
I think there's another. And then there's the local 2 newspapers which rate you. And, it's not like, a local MPL dad voting, man. These guys are knowledgeable.
Yeah.
They're like talking them tactically and stuff. And you're like, man, that actually makes sense.
So it's real.
It's real.
Were you reading those scores?
Sometimes you did, but to be honest, I knew by, like I said, I was a mature guy. I knew by the time I was 20 that I'm never going to be the 10. I'm never going to be that guy getting the high scores.
Yeah. But is it true that they called you 6 out of 10 or something like that?
6 out of 10. That was my score.
That's somewhat a compliment, I guess. That's consistent.
Yeah, that's all right.
That is actually sort of a compliment.
Yeah,
above
they could have said 7 or 8.
6.5, 7.
Mate, the best compliment I had as a player, and that was when I went to Spal.
Yep.
There was a guy there, Alessio Piri, and he was long, classic Italian, long hair, smoked, cigarettes, wine, sniffing it all the time. And he'd go, Carl, he goes, I can't tell when you're playing. He goes, I don't notice you. He goes, when you're not playing, he goes, I feel you're not playing.
Bro, isn't that a great summary of your position though?
So for me, that was at 21 years old, and I went, I like that. And, again, I say to kids, stick to your strengths. What you're good at. That was what I was good at. Fuck, I'm going to run with it.
That's
Yeah,
why I
yeah.
think the
Yeah.
blind eye to football, they don't see the number 6 position the way it should be seen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because you only see it when it's not there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
When someone's not doing it well.
Yeah, like Rodri at Man City.
Yeah.
He's gone. Fucking, the wheels fall off.
Yeah. But he did win a balloon d'Or. I never won
Okay,
it.
correct.
No, good point, Jake, because I think it's one of those, it's a bit of a thankless position sometimes
Yeah.
because of how much you run, the tackles, you're starting to play. Like, it's
Well, a lot of people look at it as like it's a position that is so simple,
Yeah.
but to play the game simple is so hard.
Oh,
And
man.
you know who appreciates it the most is the teammates of a hardworking number
Exactly.
6.
Oh, man. That's what I said.
It's the guys in the dressing room that are like, when he plays, it makes a massive
six.
Well, he's got it. Rashid told me a famous story about Carl, and Rashid started doing it when we played together. I started laughing because of his Carl story. And I don't know if you were maybe you had come on from off the bench, or you'd played the whole game with Carl, but it was like the back end of the game, and you played from the starting minute, and Rashid might have come on, and like a runner's running past Rashid, and the ball's going there, and Rashid's kind of got the fresh legs, and you're just running behind, going, "I got you, Rash. I got you," and just starts doing his running for him. And Rashid's looking at him like this guy's been playing the whole time.
Yeah.
And then he started doing it when we were playing. He's like, "I got you, Jake. I got you," like a Superman, just coming through
Man,
a bunch of people.
I played against him. He's slow, man.
Yeah.
When did you play against
We
him?
played Legends.
Oh, yeah.
Boys,
Yeah.
I've got to charge it soon.
Yeah.
So, whatever else you want.
Let's go. What do we want to go into? I reckon Sassuolo and Socceroos.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can you talk? Yeah.
I
Go.
was going to say, because you touched on when you were captaining the Primavera, but I feel like every team you played for, at least at club level, you were
Yeah.
like in a leadership position, and particularly when you go to another country. Like, what was it about you that was seen as always to be a leader? Particularly when you say your position, right, and how you was perceived as a player.
And I think it's just, like sticking to your strengths, doing what you're good at. And I wanted the team to win. And I knew maybe I wasn't the player to get the team to win, to make the team win. I wasn't going to get the ball every week, ping it to someone, or, shoot a worldie or free kick or anything. So I had to get the most out of everyone around me. So I guess that was what I tried to do at every club. And, coaches in Italy love that. And as a matter of fact, Allegri, he took me to Grosseto.
Wow.
So Allegri I was one of the first players he called after Spa.
Compliment.
Yeah.
Wow. That's massive.
One of my things that I kind of regret, through your career, is he went to Cagliari in the Serie A. From Grosseto, he went to Cagliari. And he called me and he said, "Carl, I want you to come." And they wouldn't let me go. Grosseto wouldn't let me go. And there was a nominal fee. I can't remember how much. But I didn't push hard enough to go. And I was just being the nice Carl. I wish I had a bit more.
What age was that?
That was 23, 24.
You're young still.
Yeah. So that was when I really should have gone. And there was a lot of talk about it, but I just didn't. I'm like, nah, it'll happen if it happens.
Hindsight, huh? It's
Hindsight, man.
Yeah,
No,
I get you.
one thing I regret is not being more of a prick, like being too much of a team player to the extent where I'll do what's right by the club. Be a bit more ruthless. You've got to be a bit more.
We talked about that
hand.
the other week about
especially-
balancing integrity in football and competitiveness.
Yeah.
It's
And I
very
think
hard.
There's times where, as a player, inside the change room and inside the club, there's things that are wrong.
Yeah.
And you don't say it because you don't want to, damage your image or whatever. But there's times where you need to stand up and say it.
Yeah, 100%.
Nah, but I'm all good. Thank you.
Yeah, you see something, say something, man. I wish I just stood up and.
In some ways, because maybe it's a similar thing when he's asking why were you in leadership positions. I distinctly remember a quality of yours, which was, let's say a coach put on a bad drill, right? What does everyone do? Everyone starts, "Oh, this is shit," or "What's this shit?" Starts complaining, whispering to each other. Carl would straight away be like, "Come on.
Yeah.
Who cares? Forget about it. Move on. Play."
Yeah.
And that's maybe a similar thing where you're kind of just like, "Guys, stop worrying about what's wrong. Let's
Yeah.
just put in. Let's just put in. Let's just put in."
do it.
you
They
know?
get the word. Yeah, that's it. I'm big on that. And even with everything in life, that's my mentality. Just get on with it. What are we going to do?
Why in your eyes would Carl be one of the best players you played with? Like from the teammates' view of Carl, because he can't talk about himself.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's probably just what he said before about just how clearly I would notice if he wasn't playing.
Yeah, okay.
The impact of if he wasn't playing, the outcome of the game would be very, very different than if he did play.
I've got one question before we just touch on the World Cup and Socceroos and obviously the Asian Cups. But What was your greatest achievement in Italy? Like in your eyes when you look back now, because you were there for so long.
Man, there was, I guess, the greatest achievement is promotion to Serie A is pretty big. So I got promoted from Serie C to Serie B, and Serie B to Serie A.
In the same, to what? Same
So in that 10-year span, no, not back to back.
So you experienced promotion.
Experienced promotion, yeah, and the best one was Serie C to Serie B. We took a city that had never been in Serie B before.
Wow. That's awesome.
And it was just like the whole town stopped, man. So you're talking about, we get back to the stadium. So this is in Tuscany. It's a small beach town. There was about 20,000 people at the stadium. And we were untouchable. We could do what we want. The places stayed open for us, so we could go there, eat and drink.
So you were like rock stars.
We were rock stars. We were like, police would take us home. There was one time.
He's been arrested. He's just getting dropped off. He's just getting
police
dropped
would
off.
take us home. It was amazing. It was just.
What the fuck is going on?
Carabinieri would come and go, "Hey, boys, keep it down. There's people sleeping."
What's Carabinieri? What's that?
It's police.
Okay.
And they take us home. They go, "Come on, we'll take you home. Don't worry, we'll take you home."
That's unbelievable.
So B to C, B to A was who?
probably those promotions are
Which
greatest.
team was that?
So Grosseto was C to B, and then Sassuolo was B to A.
Yeah, that's massive.
And Sassuolo was a massive achievement just because of the size, the potential of the club. Like that club, I think in years to come will be massive. Just like the family behind it, the mentality behind the people involved at it. Sassuolo is a great club. And even now, they got relegated to Serie B. And I think they're already on track to get promoted into Serie A again. So,
what qualities would you, even Sassuolo or any of the other teams, what qualities of Italian football clubs would you take, 2 or 3, that you think Australian clubs could could improve the quality of their clubs with?
that is a great question, Rash. It's hard. Their pool of players is different.
Of course.
Like I'll touch on something. I might go off topic here so you can, but in Italy, what does everyone want to do? They want to play football. Everyone. Everyone wants to play football. In Australia, what does everyone want to do? I'll play football, I'll play AFL.
Yeah,
Multi-sport. And that's fine. I'm not against that. But in Italy, they have the pick of the gene pool. So they're getting the best athletes, the best of everything.
Yeah.
Imagine if a soccer or any sport in Australia had the pick of every athlete.
Yeah.
That's why I always talk about us going 5 World Cups in a row. With that, imagine if we had the best athletes playing our sport.
Man.
Every single one.
Every single one, we'd kill it. In Australia, we would kill it, but we don't.
Yeah.
And that is the fundamental flaw of Australia, that we are a great country and we offer so much. In Italy, they're just like, here's football, here's a pitch. Cricket, what's cricket? No, swimming. Oh, the pool's, 10 meters long, you can try swimming.
Yeah.
And everyone who's an athlete in another sport probably played football and didn't make it.
Yeah.
And there's some dedicated. I'm not putting down cycling and
100%.
and everything else.
It's true, though.
But
they would try football first.
it's football.
Probably.
So that is it. And the accessibility to it. Like in Australia, my kids are playing NPL now at Spring Hill, and I have to drive 30 minutes there.
Yeah.
And if I wanted my kids to play at, Victory's Academy, I'd have to drive 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Melbourne City, I'd have to drive 2 hours.
Yeah.
So the accessibility of football is hard. That is the main difference.
But you said, for example, the potential of Sassuolo was so big, right? Because of certain things that maybe other clubs in Italy don't even have.
Just their backing is one thing. Like dedicated people supporting the club and running it in a financially stable, stable way is important.
Yeah.
Like they're not coming in, they're not buying players willy-nilly. Like
Yeah,
their core values are important, and you can see that by some of the players that have been there, like Domenico Berardi. He's national team player. He rocked up to Sassuolo and as a young kid, and we saw him. And I just went, oh my God, this guy is unbelievable. Like he's untouchable. You couldn't get near him at 17.
Yeah,
and he stayed with Sassuolo the whole time, and there's a reason, because they value that. The captain that I had there, Francesco Magnanelli, who one of the best players I played with.
Was he a DM?
He was a DM.
Yeah.
This guy, he's the only guy. He's the only guy who could run more than me.
Is it bald as well?
No, and he had a full head of hair.
That's a
full head of
rough,
hair.
That's rough.
And an unbelievable bloke, just an all-round, like one of the best guys in football. He stayed there like through Serie C, B, A, and then I think he got him into UEFA. What do they call the UEFA?
Europa?
Nah,
Europa League.
Europa League.
Europa League. Wow.
So
Yeah.
those core beliefs, and I think there's scope to do that sort of stuff, but it's hard without financial backing.
Yeah, because
that's
it
the
sounds
main
like
thing.
the one succinct word that sounds like you're saying is like stability. Whether it's in players, administrators, finances, like
Yeah, stability. And we don't have that. You know,
Yeah, it's all over the place.
it's all over. Look, there is.
yeah, cool.
I
cool.
just want to
Yeah,
ask.
Yeah, go.
With
Sorry.
the,
Yeah.
no, no, it's the camera.
Yeah.
With the Socceroos, just quickly,
Yeah.
before you touch on the South Africa World Cup, but the Bresciano and Grella, the Parmesan gang, like we've heard myths about that, in regards to them bringing like cheese into camp for everyone, and then everyone
oil.
like they want some of it.
And oil.
Is there
And
truth
oil.
to that? Were you a part of that? Like,
I wasn't a part because, like, you know, one thing, like, you know, and you respect this. I grew up watching these guys. For that, they were my heroes.
yeah,
I wanted to be Grilla. I wanted to be Bresh. So for me, they were my heroes. So I always treated them like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, happy to say that I looked up to them. And, you know, now we're older. I still play with Bresh in the
yeah, over
in the
35s, whatever.
You know, yeah. So
What a duo.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I still, you know, I looked up to them my whole career. So I kind of let them be them. And, but yeah, they would. They were massive Italian mafia there. I just,
But because people were saying that, what I thought, they brought it in and then everyone started using it and it would run out. So
Yeah.
then they're like, they start bringing more.
mate,
and more,
they
like,
did. I remember the oil.
suitcase.
Because don't forget, Karlac was there too, played in Italy.
Oh, yeah. of course.
So a lot of people were Italianized. And Italy does that to you. When you go there, if you embrace the culture, you're
become
like,
it.
"Man, this is great.
Yeah.
The lifestyle of an Italian is the best. Like, they don't want to work. They love coffee.
Yeah,
They have breaks every chance they get. But and you think if you're a business, that's hard. But as a human being, it's the best.
yeah.
You know, because we'd be walking, my wife and I, at lunchtime, go for a walk, and we'd be like, everyone's walking.
Yeah,
Who's
yeah.
working?
They
Yeah.
prefer the simple things.
Yeah.
Like, they don't need much.
Yeah.
It's
But-
just family, food, and friends.
But what's interesting is I've been doing a lot of research before we did this culture corner, and a lot of the most hardworking people that have been in Australia are Italians.
Yeah.
All the construction, the manufacturing, and all this stuff is like Italians that have
Bricklayers.
almost built this country in some ways.
Yeah.
Like
They
Opera
did.
House,
They
the
did.
Highway 1, all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. But I wonder if there's an element of like back home, when they came here, maybe there was a different mindset
sure
for,
Yeah.
for making an impact
I think
and changing.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree with that. The Italians that migrated, you know, they came pretty much after the war, right? My nonno was one. He migrated after the war and came out. So they had nothing. And so to get something, they had to work hard. But kind of seeing Italy fold out, they're like, well, hang on, if I work hard here, I can set everyone up for life.
Yeah, that
So
makes
there was
sense.
that element. And a lot of them did that. And a lot of, you know, there is a lot of wealth in Australia because of these Italians, the Greeks, every nationality that came here was like, hey, we've lived this before.
Yeah,
I've seen this. I'm going to work my ass off and build something special.
that's
My
it.
nonno
Great.
literally set up for generations, like with
Yeah.
a farm and everything.
Yeah.
Like they were geniuses almost back then
Yeah.
to take advantage of the Australian way.
Yeah, the
basically.
opportunity.
Yeah, the opportunity.
And now I want to go live in Italy.
For the final one, can you just describe playing at South Africa, right? The World Cup,
Yeah.
which for me was one of the most unique World Cups. The Jabulani, the Vuvuzelas,
Man, it was
like a
full
very
on.
strange thing, but at the same time, it was like our second World Cup
Yeah.
in how many years? Or third overall.
Wow, it was amazing. You know, when you're a player, you dream of playing in a World Cup. And like I did. And I still pinch myself sometimes, like so far. Played in a World Cup. It's
You
unbelievable.
played a lot of minutes too.
Played every game.
You played every game. Yeah,
Every game.
insane.
Every
Well,
game.
yeah. Like it wasn't just there. He was in it.
I remember we played New Zealand before we left here in Melbourne. And I wasn't starting. I'm like, oh, geez. And we didn't know.
Eddie had?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was at that game.
And I'm like, oh, geez, I don't know if I'm going to make it or not. We didn't know. No one knew. Well, you know, the core did. Because we're playing with, like, think about the last 2006 World Cup.
Yeah.
they were still there.
Yeah.
So I was like looking around. They're all playing Premier League, Serie A, and I'm kicking around in Serie B, like still doing well.
Wait, which game was this? Can you say the game again?
New Zealand, yeah, was the one.
It was a friendly.
It was a
I
friendly
think
match.
I
One
came
nil.
to this game, bro.
Was it that Etihad or
Yeah,
MCG?
Etihad.
I think I came and watched this game.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. Sorry,
No!
sorry to cut you off.
It was at MCG, I think.
Was it MCG?
Yeah, I think
well,
it was
yeah,
MCG,
did
and I think
Darwin
I
finish
came,
the
bro.
I thought Brett Holman scored.
Oh, it might have been Brett.
I think
Late
I think it was one of my only assists.
No way!
I think so. I think so. But I came on last 20 minutes. I think, if I remember correctly, it was me. But I just remember like the whole day just shitting myself, essentially going, am I going to make it? This is probably my best chance. And Pim comes up to me after the game, Pim Vivek, who's no longer with us. And he was a great man, legend. He was so direct and honest. It was the best. And he goes, Carl, you're coming to the World Cup. And I guess he could
After
see
the
it,
game?
yeah, after the game.
Right, that must be the greatest feeling
Oh,
ever,
man, I
right?
wanted to cry, but obviously the boys are around them. Like, oh,
You gotta almost act like you
go to the
expected it.
cubicle, yeah.
Do you think it was your 20? Do you think it was your 20 minutes?
No.
Okay.
You know, it was I wanted to make that team. So,
Yeah.
and he'd come up to me. I love Pim Verbeek because he was so honest, like brutally. He'd go, Carl, you're not playing today because Vince and Jason are better. And
You'd rather that than them leading you around the fucking
Okay.
thing now.
and he'd say with a Dutch accent, I'd be like, yeah, that's understandable. No problem. But,
Yeah, man.
you know, I went away, then we went away, and I said, I literally said to everyone, like, stuff, I'm going to work my ass off to play. And that's what I did, man. Like, you thought, you know, I worked hard. You should see me in preparation for that World Cup. I was a beast. Like,
You gave your life to it.
made my life,
I
smashing
feel like
everyone.
that's how it would be, though. If you got the call up,
Yeah.
that's it.
But that's what it
It's your
takes, man.
childhood
It's a
dream.
shit fight. Like, you're in
Yeah.
the team, but it's still a shit fight.
I remember Mile and I were basically, Mile Jedinak and I, who should have been playing too, really, essentially, if I look back. We'd get the stats, like every training session, we'd be there looking at the stats, and it'd be him and me at the top, just by far, because we'd be working our ass off.
Really, he'd run a lot.
Mile was a beast. Mile was a beast.
So big, man. I
Yeah.
didn't realise
Shout
that.
out,
He
Milan.
was a beast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
He's killing
One last question, Carl,
Yeah.
and maybe we can cut this out. I don't even know, but is there an Italian? Do you feel an Italian influence at Melbourne Victory?
that's a good question. Yes, because of Anthony Di Pietro and his family behind the club and what he's put into the club. Yes, Senkateri is there too. You're talking about Italians coming into Australia making a difference. I mean, no better Sam Kateri's. And Anthony Di Pietro, they started off with nothing, their families. Sam started off with 4 chickens, and now he does something like 15 million chickens a week.
Right.
You know,
Ionica.
Yeah.
So there is an Italian, like, you know, I
Mirabella.
speak Italian. Mirabella, Joey was there, yeah.
Wow.
So there is an Italian feeling. But I think, you know, as we all get older, that the culture is slowly, unfortunately, disappearing in Australia. Like, I still go to the Italian clubs when I can, but the youth aren't embracing that culture like my parents, like their parents. And it's unfortunate, but it's just the way of the world. We're all becoming our own. We're becoming Australian,
Yeah.
you know? I think that's what's happening. And it's good, but it's sad to see that, you know, no one's making, I'm going back in, I'm going old school. I'm trying to make salami and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
that's good, man.
To bring it back, doing my sauces,
Yeah.
you know, doing stuff like that, because I want to hang on to that heritage, and hopefully my kids do the same.
Imagine us making sauces and salami with Carl.
Mate, it's not easy. Sitting over that fire,
That'd be
it's
an
not
experience.
easy.
No, so, man, yeah.
You got to bring the
do it.
passeggiata. What is it? Passeggiata?
The passata.
No, the walk. What's it called?
Oh, the passeggiata.
Passeggiata. You got to bring the
Yeah, but you
passeggiata
can,
back.
and that's something I say to my wife when we're older. I'm going to move, because right now we're in the country. I said I'll walk 10 minutes. I'm still on my property.
Yeah,
Got to get it. So I want to move to like an area because it's social, man. I want to come to Brunetti's every day and have the same. Maybe not Brunetti's, but somewhere.
It's healthy, huh? It's
Yeah.
mentally healthy.
Mentally healthy.
Yeah.
Too busy. When you go to a local
Oh,
store.
but what I'm saying is a coffee place.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be Brunetti's. A local one. You know,
Alright,
stuff like that.
You're a
Oh,
legend,
Carlo.
Carl. Thank you, bro.
Oh, man, no worries.
That was awesome.
Thank you so much.